Hello everyone, welcome to Southern Wreaths. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel and be sure to give me a thumbs up. Today I'm going to make this pride wreath. It's made on an 18-inch frame, so this is a larger wreath. These are the supplies I'm going to use to make this wreath. I'm going to start by adding my pipe cleaners to my wire frame. Again, this is an 18-inch wire frame, and I wanted to make sure I had even numbers on the inside and out. Going back, because of the way I was doing this wreath, I should have done the same amount on the inside and outside, but I'll show you how I fixed that in the end. So I counted all of the crossbars and there were 9, and since I wanted an even number, I am just laying my pipe cleaner down and I'm coming in maybe in ½ an inch from where the pipe cleaner ends, and that's where I'm adding my next one. And this will make it where it all turns out to be even and there's 10 of them. And I'll do that all the way around the center. The outside I did a little different. So I started at a crossbar, and you can literally start anywhere. And then I laid it down, and I decided to do it at 4 inches. So about every 3.5 to 4 inches, I strive for 4 on the inside and outside because of the way I was making this wreath. I have 6 different colors, so it worked out to have 2 of each color on the outside. So if you decided to make a rainbow wreath, and it doesn't have to be pride, just any rainbow wreath or one with 6 colors, you would want to have even numbers. It just balances out well. I'm going to make a 21-inch base doing the poof method just to give it some height. And I'm going to attach it with a zip tie, and I just gathered the end of it and then just pulled it tight, and then I'll just trim it away. I still can't find my wire cutters, so I'm just going to use my scissors. And I'm only going to do 10-inch poofs on this because I didn't want too much white to show, and I find with the 12-inch poofs that it tends to show a lot of white when you're done. With this particular wreath, you can actually go through and fluff everything to where you can't see the white. I didn't actually take the time to do that perfectly, but I'll probably do that before I sell it. And then I'm just using my mat to measure, and like I said, 10-inch poofs, and I like to fluff it as I go, and I'm only twisting the pipe cleaner 1.5 times. And this is just because I'm going to add more mesh and ribbon. And I'll go around the entire outside doing the 10-inch poofs. If anyone's interested in following me on social media, you can find me on Instagram at Southern Wreaths More, on Facebook at Southern Wreaths, and I also have a Facebook group called Southern Wreaths and More. I would love for you to check this out. To move into the inside, I find the closest pipe cleaner to where I ended, and I just pull the mesh to that, and I twist it just to hold the mesh there so I don't have to do like a diagonal across. It just pulls the mesh to the center, and then I'll continue going around doing the 10-inch poofs to complete the inside. To end the wreath, the very first section where I pulled the mesh up, I just open that up and add the last poof so it's a seamless circle. And then I'll just trim everything away. I like to cut my mesh before I attach it. You don't have to. You could push it back to the back and attach it and then cut it that way. So I'm using 10-inch mesh for all of the colors, and I'm just cutting them 3 at a time. So this is my purple, blue, and green. I decided to cut them at 24 inches. You could probably get away with 30 inches. It's easier to measure out on my mat at 24 inches, and I think it looks great in the end. And I needed 4 of each color. So I cut 4 yellow, 4 red, 4 orange, 4 green, 4 blue, 4 purple. And then for the ribbons, I wanted 2 pieces of ribbon in each section, so I did 8. And I'm just going to show you how I like to cut my ribbon. I'm going to use my piece of cardboard. It's measured 12 inches, and I wrap the ribbon around 6 or 7 times, depending on how many I needed. I needed 8 for this, so I went to 6, and then I cut the 2. And then once I get it wrapped around, I slide my scissors in and cut on either end. And I end up with perfect 12-inch pieces of ribbon. And you can do this for any size ribbon. Just find a piece of cardboard or anything, really. And then I like to dovetail the ends. And I just do this as I go. It just makes it easier. and I just fold it in half and I cut from the wire to the crease at a diagonal, and I end up with these nice edges. Okay, so to make my ruffles, I like to put something on the end that wasn't really heavy enough. You'll see that in a second. It slides off. So you want something a little bit heavier than your rotary cutter. You can use your scissors or a foam, which is what I end up using. And then you just ruffle it together, kind of like accordion folding it. I'm starting on the outside, and looking back, I probably should have started on the inside just because I tend to make a mess when I start on the outside, because I'm adding my ribbons as I go. But you just add it in and get it as centered as possible, and then I'm twisting again 1.5 times. I'm going to fluff my ruffle, and then I'm going to go ahead and add my ribbon. I like to stack my ribbon the way I'm going to add it. This time I just stacked it by color, and I just moved the other ones down to the bottom once I added them. To find the center, I fold it in half and crease it. I'll pinch where the crease is, and then I add that pinched area into the pipe cleaner. I'll twist it 3 times, and then I like to take a glue stick or a pin and roll the pipe cleaner down. And then for the outside, I like to make like a bow tie. So it's like straight across, and then the 2 tails hang down. For the middle, I usually go for an X. After I did my red section on the outside, I'm going to move to the orange. And I'm going to do it exactly the same way. I just sped it up a little bit so you can see that I ruffle it. I add the mesh. Then I add my ribbon. Twist it 3 times and roll it down. And I do go through at the end and make sure everything looks nice and all of my ruffles and ribbon are the way they're supposed to be. So after I went around the outside doing 2 of each color, I'm moving to the inside. Again, I do it exactly the same way as the outside, except when I fluff my ribbon, you'll see I make an X instead of a bow tie. Now I did, like I said, I messed up and I only did 10 ties on the inside. So I only have 1 green and 1 red when I went around the first time. It's just kind of the way the mesh was lining up as I was adding it. So I just cut some pipe cleaners in half, 1 pipe cleaner in half, because I just needed 1 red section, 1 green. And I'm just going to make a bundle. So I'm holding the red ruffle in one hand, and then I'm going to take the ribbon, and then you just fold the pipe cleaner around it to the back, and you'll twist it 3 or 4 times. And that's what I'm going to use to attach it to the frame. But if you went ahead and done your 12 ties at the beginning, you wouldn't have to do this. You do want to twist it really tight because you want it to fluff up just like everything else is on the wreath. And then I just kind of pushed it into the mesh where I felt there was a bigger gap. Between the orange and red, I didn't feel there was as big as a gap between the purple and red, if that makes any sense. So I pushed it through the mesh into the back, and then I twisted around the frame 3 or 4 times. And then I'm just going to fluff it like I normally do. And then I noticed that my ribbons were really messed up. So after I attach the green one, I go through and organize all my ribbon. I thought I was recording, and I actually wasn't when I attached the sign. All I did was turn the sign over, take a pipe cleaner for the top and the bottom, and staple it to the back. And then I feed the pipe cleaner through the mesh and attach it to the wire frame. And you can see any of my other videos where I add a sign and I do it exactly the same way as I did that. And I'm sorry I don't have that footage. That's it. That's how I made my Rainbow Pride wreath. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, or you can always email me at craftingwithlee@yahoo.com. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked my video or learned anything today, please like, share, and subscribe.